Hello, friends, and welcome back. To continue our series on slow living, I would like to chat about a minimal lifestyle and what that could mean. Like maybe choosing quality over quantity. Sometimes we can get caught up in the trap of thinking that our self-worth is measured by how many friends or material objects we have. But when you have less, there is more space for new and meaningful things to come into our lives. Living a minimal life is about prioritizing that which is really important. So take time to really stop and think about what is really stopping you from living a slower and simpler life. Maybe it's about attitude and having to choose between quality over quantity. Remember, self-worth is not measured by how busy we are, what we have, or how much we have. We choose how to measure our self-worth. So please remember this and be kind to yourself. I'm going to continue today, friends, reading from the book by Melanie Barnes, Seeking Slow, a passage on daydreaming and boredom. We also need to allow ourselves space to daydream for our mental well-being. It is vital to have time when we are not thinking about anything productive, but just letting our thoughts seamlessly float through a stream of consciousness. We all need moments in our day when our minds are relaxed and disengaged from things. Daniel Levitin, an award-winning neuroscientist and author, explains, daydreaming mode turns out to be restorative. It's like hitting the reset button in your brain. If you can remember life before mobile phones existed, you will know what it is like to sit on a train and have nothing to do but gaze out the window or read a book. You will also have experienced standing in a queue for something and getting lost in your own thoughts and daydreams. Because of the wonderful advances with technology, potentially there is a whole generation that will not have those experiences to draw from unless we encourage them to unplug and indulge in a bit of good old-fashioned daydreaming. Time seems different when you are daydreaming, slower somehow. And how we use our minds while daydreaming is very different from how we use them during dedicated focus. When we daydream, we are playful, intuitive, and relaxed. Perhaps that is why creative and inspirational ideas are often born from daydreaming. We need to allow our minds space to ruminate and for our imaginations to be free. Only then can the gap be filled with a creative idea or answer. According to Daniel Levitin, creative solutions often arise from allowing a sequence of altercations between dedicated focus and daydreaming. In fact, I would take it one step further and say that not only do we need to daydream more, but we also need to allow ourselves and our children to get bored. Just like with daydreaming, boredom encourages our minds to wander, and the natural lull allows our energy to replenish. It also encourages creative thinking. Remember when you were a child and you would say you were bored? What followed would be an interval where you had to use your initiative and imagination to think of something creative to occupy yourself with. It is evident that time spent daydreaming or being bored is essential for our mental well-being, and that now more than ever, when there are many distractions to keep our brains occupied and engaged, we have to be more mindful and intentional about making sure we have gaps in our days to let our minds slow down. So, another little part I'd like to read from this book is on nature therapy. Seasonal living and spending time in nature go hand in hand. There is something about being out in the wilds of nature that can't be replicated by anything else. Writers, composers, and artists have been trying to capture the majesty of nature for centuries, and recently the Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, have started to become more popular in Western culture. Perhaps due to urbanization or the fact that many of us spend our days sitting behind a computer, there seems to be a resurgence of people wanting to reconnect to nature. Many of us are realizing that spending time in nature has a positive impact on our well-being. Nature therapy, also known as ecotherapy, helps a person in a stressed state by using the restorative effect of nature for physiological relaxation. By spending time outside in the fresh air, reconnecting to the wilds of nature, we begin to feel relaxed and calm. Research is being done all the time into the regenerative properties of being close to nature and how it can help improve mood and alleviate depression and anxiety. And nature therapy is becoming increasingly popular with mental health care professionals. Some healthcare professionals are even issuing nature prescriptions for medical conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes. Time outdoors in a big expanse of nature can't but help put any problem into perspective. It reminds us that we are all part of something greater and bigger than ourselves. By acknowledging that time spent in nature, we are enhanced. Our well-being is enhanced. We are also reminded to enjoy the nature that is around us as much as possible. So, friends, I would have another section to read, all connected with slow living. But I think I'm going to close here for today, and I'll come back with probably one final little episode on this slow living series. So I wish you well, stay well, be kind with yourselves, and keep it simple, okay? All the best, and I'll be back soon.